Well, hello everybody, MD Creekmore here. Today is October the 28th, Monday, 2019. Today's video topic is must-have gear for when the lights go out. One minute you're sitting back in your recliner enjoying the latest UFC event, ball game, movie, television comedy, or maybe a porno if that's your thing. Then all of a sudden, the lights go out. Darkness. No more television, no more lights, no nothing but darkness. The nation's power grid is really a fragile thing and could be taken down by a number of things from transformer overloads, cyber attack, an EMP, and the power grid could be down for a few hours, a few days, months, or even years. So let's take a look at some must-have gear for when the grid goes down. Also, please keep in mind that in this video, I'm not going to be talking about water, food storage, or medical gear. I will cover that and have covered that in other videos. If you've watched some of my other videos, then you might recognize some of this gear from those videos, and I will link to those reviews in the description below so you can check those out. Some of those reviews will have a little more detail on the items than what I'm going to give here. In this video today, I'm going to give a general overview of some of the items that you need, some of the gear that you need for when the grid goes down. Depending on where you live and the time of year, one of the most important considerations that you may have is heat, because you can live quite a while without food. You can live a few days without water if you're in pretty good physical condition. But if the grid goes down and the heat goes out and it's freezing temperatures, then you could quickly die from hypothermia, frostbite, and other complications from the cold. So one of the first things you should consider is a way to heat. If you have a wood stove, such as this one, and a good supply of firewood, then you'll be, as you say, in the catbird seat. But most people have to rely on portable heaters such as this. This is a Mr. Heater Big Buddy. I think that I got this one at Walmart. They also sell these on Amazon.com. I will add the links in the description below to Amazon. You can check these things out if you want and check the prices and things on these. But I think they got these at Walmart, I think, probably Kmart and other sporting goods stores. But these heaters, they work really well. This one actually, we use two tanks. You can have a tank on this side, the 1 pound cylinders, and a 1 pound cylinder on this side. You can use an adapter hose such as this one to actually adapt the Mr. Heater Big Buddy to actually use the larger cylinders such as this. Or it'll also use these 1 pound cylinders, like I said, and this heater, you can put one cylinder on each side. And each cylinder, I forget exactly how long each one of these will last, but I think it's about 4 to 6 hours for each one. I think it is if you turn it on low. And this here, this will last several days. And you can also use the adapter hose to actually adapt the Mr. Heater Big Buddy to one of the 100 pound cylinders. That's not recommended in the manufacturer's instructions, but it can be done. I've done it before myself. I actually had a longer hose than this one when I lived in my camper, and I had the hose ran through the floor of the camper and outside, and had one of the 100 pound tanks outside, and had the Mr. Heater, the Big Buddy heater. I had that inside and the 100 pound tank with a longer adapter hose outside. And I could heat with the 100 pound tank for approximately a month in the camper if I left the heater on low. But anyway, one of the first things you need to look at for when the grid goes down is how you're going to stay warm, because you don't want to freeze to death and die of frostbite or hypothermia or other complications related to the cold. Another thing that you'll want is light. And I did a review of these lanterns a few days ago. I'll link to that in the description box below. I think these are like about $35 a piece, and they run off of AA batteries, and they work really, really well. They're really bright. They have different settings, and they will last for hours on one set of batteries. You'll want something like this Sun Jack solar charger, because this will charge your cell phones and things like that. And you can use a little thing like this right here, this little adapter, and you can charge up rechargeable batteries, rechargeable AA batteries. And the rechargeable AA batteries, you can recharge with the sun with your solar charger, and you can use those batteries in these lanterns or this police scanner, which is another thing you'll want, is a police scanner. Yes, you can program this for the different frequencies in your area, and you can program this to pick up the police department, the rescue squad, ambulances, the utility companies, and you can listen to progress and what they're doing and what's going on in your community. Another thing you'll want is a good radio. And I mentioned this in another video. This is the Voyager Pro, and this is an AM, FM shortwave. It will operate on batteries. It has a solar panel. You can crank it to charge the batteries up. It has a weather band. It's a really good radio, and really recommend it. It's actually one of the best radios that I came across for preppers and emergency preparedness. And this thing is great. It picks up great. It works great. It's a great little radio. And I think it's like $65 on Amazon. Another thing that you'll want is a way to cook. And one of the simplest things is something like this Coleman cook stove. I did another video of different cooking methods and things, and you can check that out in the description below. And I mentioned this cook stove, but this is probably one of the first things that most preppers and most people should get for emergency preparedness. This is a Coleman camp stove, and this camp stove, what makes this camp stove good for this setup here that I'm talking about today is that this camp stove uses the same fuel as the heater, as a Mr. Buddy heater. And you can also use the adapter hose with the camp stove to hook it to a larger container such as that one. And it'll also use the smaller 1 pound propane containers like these. So everything works together. You have propane, adapter hose, and fuel, and it all work interchangeably between the heater and the cooking stove. If you want a more permanent solution for a really long-term grid down situation, I did a full review of this EcoZoom rocket stove a few days ago, actually a few weeks ago actually, and this thing is awesome. It works really well, puts off very little smoke, and is very fuel efficient. And I suggest you get one of these if you're looking for a long-term solution, because while the propane camping stove will actually run out of fuel eventually, you can store so much, you can store a lot, you can store enough for a year or more, but it will eventually run out of fuel. The EcoZoom rocket stove won't run out of fuel, because you can always find twigs, you can always find some wood, you can always find some charcoal, you can always find things to burn in this EcoZoom rocket stove. So it's a perfect long-term grid down solution. Another thing you might want to consider is a good generator. You can get other generators that are larger size and use more fuel and are heavier to move around. That's a little bit cheaper than this Honda, but this Honda is one of the best generators that I've owned. It is, I think this is like $1,100 on Amazon. I've not checked in a long time, but I think it's like $1,100. But this thing is very quiet for a generator. It is very fuel efficient, and it's easy to pick up, move around the different locations, and it works really, really well. I mean, this is the best generator that I've ever owned, and I'll give you my highest recommendation. If you can afford to get a generator, and you're looking for a generator, and you can afford a little extra, then pick up a Honda like this. Another thing that you might consider for a grid down situation is a good stockpile of candles. Now, candles can be a fire hazard, so you have to watch them very closely. If you have animals in the house like dogs or cats, they can get knocked over. If you have small children in the house, they can get knocked over and cause a fire, and they can really be dangerous and burn your house down or your apartment building or whatever you're in. So if you are going to use candles, you need to be sure and do it in a safe manner. But they can be a lifesaver in certain situations. You can see I have a good stockpile of candles. Another thing that you want to consider for a grid down situation is matches. So you have a good stockpile of matches. I did a video here a few days ago or a few weeks ago. I can't keep up anymore. I've done so many videos here recently. I think I've done like 80 something videos, and after a while you get confused on when you did those videos. But I did one a few days ago, and I tested matches that has been in storage for over 25 years, and both of those matches struck without any problem. So the storage life of matches, if kept dry, is 25 years or more. So it's a good thing to stock up and put them in a good dry place, and it's also would be a good barter item. Well guys, that's it. Something for y'all to think about. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, then please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't find it useful, then give it a thumbs down. And also, if I left anything out, or you have any other suggestions or any questions or anything like that, be sure to leave those in the comments below, and I'll try my best to answer every one of those.